It fits the bill that in Barrel Roll, a futuristic Wild West themed deck builder, the player takes the role of a bounty hunter. To your surprise, there are loads of gang leaders roaming around, not being taken alive or just plain dead. You, being that bounty hunter, gotta change that. The player is always given a choice of what baddie to pick and a couple of special tasks that reward the player with an extra bullet or an upgrade resources. Choose a baddie and set off on that dusty trail. Instead of a deck to draw from, the bounty hunter has a cylinder of bullets to choose from. The first bullet is always chambered first, with a damage number located on the little bullet icon, and when the turn starts, the bounty hunter has a few options to choose from. Each baddie has a number attached to their shield and health, and alongside that is the turn clock and the intention. There's a nice light layer of strategy in Barrel Roll when you have to prioritize and manage enemies that buff allies or an enemy that will deal massive damage. The boss enemies provide a meaningful challenge with their predisposed mechanics and behaviors. I have issues with the buffs as some of them are wildly overpowered. There were times when I would take 3 turns to deal a significant portion of damage to the enemy's shield to have them heal 27 total shield back in 1 turn. Bullets come in all shapes and sizes. It doesn't explicitly state what each type does, but I'll do my best. Red deals direct damage, blue deals damage to shields, yellow to control the field, and green focuses on skill point generation. My first completed run was with a bullet that gave my next 2 bullets multi-shot, and the next was a bullet that increased clock turns by 2. Needless to say, the enemies never ever attacked. Shooting accrues skill points, and when the player wants to use their skill points, they have 3 options to choose from that range in damage multiplier with a little mini game attached to them. Barrel Roll for when encounters get a little scary and you need a specific bullet chambered, Draw to deal hefty damage, and Burst to deal more damage across more than one bad guy. I like the 3 options. They provide a good enemy management, but I wish there was more options to unlock later on down the road. Barrel Roll can be, and usually is, a very difficult game. There are clear paths to victory, but when there are 5 enemies on the screen that buff and or attack every couple of turns, Barrel Roll becomes a wash. Sometimes it can be a truly frustrating experience. After cleaning up, Barrel Roll rewards the player with a fully regenerated shield, straight up cash, and a choice of where to go to next. Upgrading slots in the revolver, upgrading bullets, healing up, gambling, and buying trinkets are a sight for sore eyes after a long-winded fight that left you battered and beaten. Bullet upgrades usually just add a +1 to whatever the bullet's damage does. The trinkets and upgrades hold significant weight that can, sometimes, really allow a player to live out a Rootin' Tootin' power fantasy. Things like upping the clock when a shield breaks, or passing debuffs to other enemies. All of this is accompanied by a minimalist art style, with shadows doing the heavy lifting. The UI looks really nice, and the color of the bullets and the titanium upgrades pop even more on the black and light flat colored backgrounds. Everything has stiff animations when both the player and the bad guys attack, but their attacks still have weight to them. The single song that plays during the fights is great, and I want to listen to it all the time, as it really hits home that Western theme. Barrel Roll is a fun, challenging game that doesn't end when you roll the credits the first time. There are other bullets and trinkets to discover and baddies to hunt down. There are moments when the player should just give up, especially in fights against enemies who buff each other endlessly, which ends up in a real feel-bad moment, but that's the bane of the genre. Barrel Roll looks and sounds good, and the power fantasy that the player can achieve is super fun. Barrel Roll has some shortcomings, but for a $5 game, I think that it is worth your time.